This talk will be something about side projects, of course, and it's mostly to understand how you can get started, how you can get involved in something, and what are the reasons why we usually do that. So just to start, I'm Alessandro Rossi. I'm working for Red Hat as a specialist solution architect, and I'm maintaining some other projects that I have also for Kubernetes world, OpenShift world, or Ansible in general. And the idea today is to provide a sort of, it doesn't want to be, the end motivation to start a new Facebook or a new Amazon or a new anything, but just to understand how we can get started doing something for the community or for ourselves itself. So how do a project start? How to make it relevant and what you can get out of this. And the idea is, okay, how do a project start, a side project start? You sometimes can start with a problem. So it can be either something that you need to solve, or maybe something that you are facing maybe when you're working or when you're studying, on potentially everything you do, you can have a problem. And how you can tackle this problem? You can either try and look outside. So maybe there is something that can help me. Think of a library, think of a playbook, think of anything that can be. It's not just related to, it's related to any kind of technology. It doesn't need to be specific. Or again, you are facing maybe a specific task that is not fitting 100%, so any other software is not fitting, or any other project is not fitting your needs. So, and again, you can also have some options. So think of just maybe editing an image. Maybe you have an initiative or an project that you can use, but they are so complex. And maybe, or even think of a matrix for a timesheet. So maybe you are on some complex shift with your companies or with your lessons, and then you realize, it's a bit too complicated to just implement in something that is existing. So why I don't start something? And this is exactly how it started for me, at least. Because when I was working way before joining Red Hat, almost 15 years ago, I had a very complex time shift matrix. Because we had, poses, interchanges with other colleagues, and no software that was out there was so easy or did for what I wanted to do. So what I did, I was learning Java at the time because I'm not a developer. So I was just learning Java for my pleasure, let's say. And I said, okay, yeah, I know, but it is what it is. So I said, why I don't just get started and try to do something cool, maybe? And I ended up with a very small project. It was a small Telegram bot. That it was just, I could tap in, tap out, add poses, add anything that I wanted to add, and it just worked. But again, what I think is anything that takes time away from what you're doing is a good opportunity to just do something to reduce this time that you're using. And again, it doesn't need to be a problem. It can also be an opportunity, because you are learning something or you want to learn something. And side projects are an amazing way to do some hands-on stuff and get really into the technology, into the project. And again, it's not necessarily related to coding or in general. It can also be writing something, writing a paper, writing whatever. It can become a side project as well. And again, when you're growing personally, as a person, as an individual, you can then contribute to the community and bring the same passion, the same energy, the same commitment that you put in your side project and motivate someone else to do the same. And again, we are living some strange days, again, but one good thing of these strange days is that information is out there. So you can just go, grab a book, grab a tutorial, grab a paper, and just get started studying, learning, trying to implement what you are studying and what you are learning. And this is one of the biggest things that you can do. Because once you get into the topic, you can also explain that topic, and you really get that topic. So your teammate or your colleague can benefit from this as well. And maybe tomorrow that colleague will be the same that is doing this. And imagine scaling like this. Of course, how do you make it relevant once you decided to start? Again, one of the biggest things that we need to keep in mind when starting something is that the temptation and what can happen is that you start too big. You want to solve all the issues of the world, but you cannot even move from here to there. So the idea is, start with something small, commit to something small. You have an issue, try to focus on that issue. Don't try to build the new because the world wants us to, create anything, new breaking technology, or we need to create a startup with an innovative product. It can really be something that is capturing the keyboard typing. I mean, if that's what you need, just do it. And again, this is a very powerful quote because really, Rome wasn't built in a day. And it's not just because I come from Rome, but the idea is that if you start focusing on something and you have the chance to solve and find a way to find a solution, a viable solution to your problem, this is the way you need to do that. And again, when you are doing things and you have ideas, put it down. This is the best way, and elaborate after. So you have a lot of ideas. Then the day after, just, no, maybe this, maybe not, this, maybe not, this, maybe not. Because this is how. Because if you start analyzing the problem at the same time, it can become overwhelming. And you are probably going to quit that project. Because it's too much. There's never too much. It's just about looking with a different mind the day after you are writing down the things. And this is exactly the noise I'm referring about, because everything that is potentially bringing your attention out from what you want to focus is completely noise. And you need to try and cancel it. And again, you need to focus on doing things. Then you have all the time, after a week, a month, when you have everything in place, say, okay, now what I can do? I can improve it. I can add a new functionality. I maybe can just rewrite the code because I learned something new. And maybe that 300 lines of code can become like 30 using a framework. And at the same time, you've also learned a new framework. So, I mean, anything that you do on your project can be really something that enlarges your knowledge. And this is what I love the most each time. And it can be a work-related stuff or completely not related to work. So, and another thing, of course, is you need to collect feedback. Because maybe you have an idea that can be useful to any of us in this room. I did something, so why not sharing it? I have something. I have a public repo. You are reading in the forum that a specific user from a country 10,000 miles away from you have the same problem. Why don't you just state, hey, I tried to do that. Do you have any ideas on that? Collect feedback. Try to get issues on, if we are talking about a repo, try to get feedback and the most important part is the criticism. Because if the criticism is constructive, it doesn't need, and this is something that needs to be worked on a personal perspective. You don't have to take feedback personally. Because bad feedback is the only thing that allows you growing. If this session is not good, I want you to tell me that this session is not good. And this happens in everything. It can be a project, it can be a paper, it can be anything. You don't grow if anyone is saying, oh, well, good, but then they go out and say, 15 minutes wasted. This is not going to help me improve. And this is exactly what happens with project. If the project is with no issues, no pull requests, no nothing, how do you think? It's a good or a bad project? Potentially no one knows about that. And this is really a problem. This is one of the first problems. And again, when you're talking about issues can also help you improve. Because again, it doesn't need to be something that is not working, or maybe someone else is needing a bit more, the extra mile. And you can collaborate on that. You can create something together. You can also network with other people that have different projects or different points of view on the same problem that you're having. So, getting a bit more concrete, the idea is, first of all, what I strongly suggest, if you're even thinking of something, start. This is already a huge step away. Because if you don't start, you're not going to finish anything because you didn't even start it. Don't get, don't get pulled down by, oh, I will not do that, I will not do that. Imperfection is something that is human. We are not perfect. Perfection doesn't exist in life. And this is something that we need to cope with. We cannot be the new inspirational model or the new genius. Potentially, there is a genius here, or more than one. But, if you are facing an issue, or if you are facing some unconfidence, or you're feeling down, don't get drowned by these feelings. And again, learning by doing. You can study for an exam. And I did that with exams that I didn't like. Full head down, take the exam, get the grade, forget. I never put something practical. So if you are learning and you want to really learn, you need to put your hands down and just start implementing what you are learning about. Because otherwise, it's just about, about something. This applies also to work. You can be the best seller in the world because you are good. But if you don't show that you know the product, that you know about the product that you are talking about, no one will believe you. And trust me, you will always find someone that is better than you at what you are talking about. This always will always happen. And again, be confident. So the point is, if you see even a small progress, it is really worth the trip because you are doing something, you are improving, you are getting better. And I just wanted to remark this. This is a very powerful quote because it's really true. You need to get started. So if any of you today will have the motivation to start something today, this will be a success. Or if you already are doing something like this, continue believing on that. Really, never give up on these things. Because really, maybe we will not become the new Zuckerberg or Bezos, but who cares? We are doing that for us. We are not doing things to impress others. So really, thank you so much for taking the time here. I really hope that it left something. And again, talking about feedback, please make use of the function because it's something that is valuable. And yeah, if you have any question, just feel free to ask, or I will be around for another time. So I will be more than happy to talk with you. Thank you, really. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you at the party. Oh, please. Sorry? That's a good question. How do I have so much energy? Good. Thank you. Really, because I really love what I do, and I think this is not a secret, and anyone in this room who knows me a bit knows that I consider everything I do as something that can, give me something. So even just being here, for me, is the biggest thing ever. So I think this is something that is worth being energetic about. So, but again, it's great for me that you felt something like this. So it's just enough. Thank you, really. Whew. I think enjoy your time and see you at the party if you'll be there. Thank you.